Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of our vlogs for SME Clinic. I'm very happy to have Ty with me today. Ty actually runs a health business with gyms and things, and as you can imagine, this is really affecting his business. I've known Ty for 2 years, and he's done extremely well. And the reason why, Ty, thank you so much for joining me today. The reason why I wanted you on here is because I feel that you are doing a lot of things that is the right things to do, and you have some really good advice maybe to share. But also in this time, I think a lot of us can feel very lonely. And for other businesses to just kind of have a feel of what you are going through will maybe give them some hope. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Almarie. I think for starters, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. And I think the lockdown has made it even lonelier. Because as entrepreneurs, we always need access to people. We need to be in touch with other people all the time. And it just helps us to keep us sane.
So Ty, what was the biggest challenges for you so far? We're 1 week into lockdown.
For me, Almarie, I think the biggest challenge is sort of settling into the new normal, which is, I've worked from home before, but I had the freedom to go where I want to go out and have meetings, see clients, see friends, see families. Whereas I think this time around, being constricted and confined to your house, I think it's something totally unusual and not normal for anyone in South Africa. So I think my biggest challenge was just settling into this new normal and finding a sort of a daily routine that I can follow to keep myself sane and also to do the right things.
So I think that's very important. You know, I read a blog this morning where somebody was saying that, she has all these plans of making the most of the lockdown, and what she finds is that she actually watches Netflix a lot. So why don't you share a bit maybe about the routine that you got into to help you keep sane?
Okay, so basically for me, what I've done is in the morning when I wake up, I do my meditation, devotion. I've got 3 books that I read. 1 is a devotional, 2 is business books. So it's Lose the Business Plan and Measure What Matters Most. So that's the first thing I do. After that, I'll just rest before I actually look at my emails. And when I look at the emails, I don't respond. It's just to sort of get a mental view of what my day is going to look like. After that, I go do the hygiene stuff, get done, and I sort of start planning a fitness session. So I've got access to a treadmill, I've got access to an indoor bike. So I do that. Once I'm done with that, then I start with work. And I hear this Netflix thing because I'm also binge watching on a series, but I make sure that the TV is off for most of the day. I normally switch Netflix on at about 8 o'clock in the evening, and I'll watch till about 10, 11, and then, that's my routine for the day.
So Ty, it's very interesting that you are saying that you make time for mental health and also for your spiritual health. And then, of course, because you're in the health industry, it kind of goes without saying that you will also do some physical exercise. But do you kind of just want to touch on how important you feel the mental and spiritual practices are, especially in a time like this?
Almarie, I think in a time like this, we all need something to believe in and something to keep us mentally stimulated.
So Ty, do you just want to kind of explain to me how important the spiritual and mental health is for you in this time?
Okay. So, Almarie, for me, the spiritual element is probably what keeps me grounded during this time. It sort of adds that hope that we have in something bigger, something greater than us, something greater than the pandemic that we're facing. And then if I look at the books that I'm reading and the fact that it stimulates me mentally, it actually gives me that break that I need from the norm, from
Mm.
what's happening around me. And it's sort of an escapism for me. And also I think it keeps my mind going and activated and fresh the whole time. Because I think without that external stimulus, your mind tends to die one brain cell at a time, which is the worst death anyone can suffer.
And then you have gyms that you manage, so all of those are now closed. What are you doing
Yes.
around your business? What are you preparing for when we come out of this? Because we are going to come out of this. And I think that, I personally feel that the health industry is probably one of the things that will open quickest, because people will be craving, going back into social environments where they can connect with people. So how are you preparing for that? What are you doing in your business?
So, Elmer, that's a very interesting question. So, I'm just going to give a bit of background as to how I've ended up here.
Hmm.
So, I started out Concept Fitness about 2 years ago. And Concept Fitness became very synonymous with the sale and repairs and installation of gym equipment. And what's happened with the lockdown, a lot of people have come to me and said, Ty, why don't you do online fitness classes? And if I think back to how Concept Fitness has become synonymous with something specific in the market, it actually took me a while to say to people that no, I won't do fitness classes, because then that's what people see me as. And what I've been doing, I think, during this time is I've been sitting down and trying to figure out, how do I take my facilities management game and how do I take that and actually step it up? So and I've never done this for the past 2 years. So I'm busy on a full-fledged business plan, because everything sits in my mind. I'm one of those entrepreneurs. I don't write stuff down. So, and I'm actually sitting down and I'm fleshing out what Concept Fitness will look like in the future, what it's going to look like. I'm not even thinking at this point about the pandemic and the factors affecting it.
Mm.
What I'm looking at is, what's this business supposed to look like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What are the things that I need to do now to make sure that it becomes sustainable, that it becomes profitable? What do I do now to break the stigma that's attached to my business around purely doing gym equipment? Because I've got to create this new persona that is professional around the facilities management.
Mm.
And I think for the first time, pinning down my thoughts and what the business looks like and what it should look like is a stuff on its own. And I think what makes it tougher is the fact that we're in this depressed economy, because we all know that post the lockdown, the markets are going to look different. Clients are going to look different.
Mm.
I mean, I think of share prices that have dropped by 30, 40%. I think of guys like Cecil, over 60% of the value wiped off, I think, in 2 days.
Yeah.
So it sort of becomes stuff preparing for this new world while it's actually crumbling around us. And I think that's also partly why I'm reading books like this, because it sort of helps you stay focused. And I think having support groups as well and speaking to people, it's just to say, plan as though this hasn't happened. Because there will be life after this. It might not happen in the next 6 months, but it will happen.
Yeah.
But if you don't plan now, you can't be ready for the opportunity when it hits.
Fantastic. I love that. I think I'm gonna, I'm definitely gonna use that in future conversations, plan as if this didn't happen, because it like you say, it's not gonna last forever. And the other thing that I want to say is really congratulations on understanding that although there is a fantastic opportunity for businesses to go digital, that going digital isn't necessarily right for everybody. And by
Yeah.
changing your entire business model may not be right for your business. And I think you are absolutely doing the right things. This is so inspiring. Ty, if there's anything, thank you so much for your time, but if there's any last thing that if there's any advice that you can give to somebody that is in the same position as you, what would you say?
Um, for me, I think the key thing is, don't make decisions out of panic. Don't make decisions out of fear. Don't make decisions in the downturn that we are now. I think before you make those key decisions, first elevate your mental capacity, your spiritual capacity, get to a happy place, find your happy place, and start planning from there. Because there's nothing worse than planning the future when you are at your lowest, when you are depressed and everything is negative in your life. So yeah, I think my word to it, other entrepreneurs, is always look on the bright side. I mean, I'm that half, but just the glass is half full kind of guy. And sometimes I think there shouldn't be a glass at all. You should have a dish, a big bucket full of water. So I think in this time, it's the best thing is remain positive and stick true to what you were doing, I think, before the lockdown. And remember the good days. And from there, if you start working from there, look after yourself, and I think you'll make the right decisions.
Fantastic. Ty, thank you so much and have a very blessed day.
Thank you, Yalmarie.